This vegetarian spring roll recipe is the perfect healthy snack to have on hand for when you come home and you want a snack before dinner. It's also a great vegan appetizer. In this video, I'm not only going to show you how to make spring roll wrapping a breeze. As a bonus, I'm going to show you my two favorite dipping sauces. One is a peanut sauce and one is a sesame tamari sauce. Welcome to Kat's Vegan Kitchen. Remember, if you find value in this video, hit that thumbs up button so you never miss a recipe. Let's get started. One of the best things about this recipe is you can literally use any vegetables you want. Today I'm using a little bit of butter lettuce, some purple cabbage, orange bell pepper, some snap peas, and some carrots. I'm also gonna throw in scallions and a few peanuts for crunch. The tofu is gonna be my protein in this roll. Remember to eat the rainbow and have lots of different colors to make them super healthy. The trickiest part about this recipe is rolling the spring rolls, but I'm gonna show you a trick how to make it super easy. To make spring roll wrapping a breeze, you wanna chop up your vegetables into really small pieces. Delicious sweet orange bell pepper loaded with vitamin C. Yummy, wonderful, delicious sugar snap peas. Just a few chopped up scallions because they're really strong in flavor. For this recipe, I'm actually going to grate my carrots. About 3 small grated carrots go into the bowl. I'm gonna chop up about a 1/4 cup of peanuts. They're gonna give my rolls a really nice and tasty crunch. I'm just going to mix up my veggies so they're nice and well mixed, so my rolls have an equal mix of all the different vegetables. If you're looking for amounts, today I'm gonna make about 10 spring rolls, and I used about 3 small carrots, a handful of sugar snap peas, about a 1/4 of a head of red cabbage, the ends of 3 scallions, half of an orange bell pepper. The protein in my spring rolls is going to be tofu. For this recipe, I'm using a pre-seasoned tofu that I bought at the supermarket, but usually when I make these, I make my own tofu. You can check out my Asian-inspired tofu recipe, and it goes really well in these spring rolls. How you cut your tofu is going to depend on what size spring roll wrappers you're using. I'm using 6-inch spring roll wrappers, or rice paper wrappers they call them. So I'm going to cut my tofu the short way so it fits really nicely in the wrapper. Okay, let's wrap our spring rolls. So you want to start by taking your rice paper wrapper. You can get these at Asian markets, and you want to put it in a pan of water and just kind of let it sit. I find lukewarm water works the best. Now this is the tricky part. You don't want to take it out too soon, and you don't want to let it sit too long. Anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. The trick is you want it to be malleable or foldable, but not so soft that it starts sticking. Now, the trickiest part about rolling the spring roll is making sure that nothing's sticking out the ends. I'm gonna lay down a little piece of butter lettuce kind of towards the end, a thin layer of filling. I am always guilty of overstuffing everything, so don't do that. I'm gonna put the tofu here on the outside. That's because it'll show really nicely. Now there's 2 schools of thought on how to roll these. I'll show you both ways. I find rolling like a burrito is a little bit easier for me. Ta-da, that's why you keep the tofu on the outside. It makes it look really pretty once it's rolled. Now I'll show you the other way of rolling a spring roll. I have heard this is the more traditional way, but I find it to be a little bit harder. So in this way, you fold it in on itself first, and then you fold it over. This way ends up a little cleaner, but I always find it a little harder. And there you have your beautifully rolled spring roll, the second kind of rolling. All right, my spring rolls are all ready to go. Now it's time to make my delicious dipping sauce. This recipe makes about 7 to 14 spring rolls, depending on what size wrapper you use and how many you mess up. My first dipping sauce is a spicy peanut sauce. I love this sauce and I use it for everything. I put it on noodles, I use it as a dipping sauce, and I even use it as a salad dressing. I'm gonna mix everything in a bowl, then I'm gonna transfer it to my high-speed blender. If you don't have a high-speed blender, you can use a food processor as well. Put in 2/3 of a cup of peanut butter. If you don't have a high-speed blender, make sure you use creamy peanut butter. 2 cloves of garlic. 1 teaspoon of freshly chopped ginger. I actually buy my ginger already chopped. It makes it a little easier. 1/2 of a jalapeno. You can use up to 2 jalapenos in this recipe, depending on how spicy you like it. 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 2 tablespoons of Bragg's liquid aminos, or you can also use tamari or soy sauce. Remember, soy sauce isn't gluten-free, so if you're making this for someone who's gluten-free, make sure you use Tamari or Bragg's. The juice of 1/2 of a lime, or more to taste if you love lime. I'm using 1/2 cup of coconut milk. Now this is gonna make it creamy. If you want it to have less fat, you can use water instead of coconut milk. 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar. This peanut sauce has no sugar and no added oil. That's the way I like it. But if you're used to a very sweet peanut sauce, you can always add in a little bit of agave or a little bit of sugar. You can also add in an Asian chili paste if you want a little bit more spice or extra jalapeno. Blend up in your high-speed blender for like 30 seconds or in your food processor till it's nice and creamy. Remember, always taste your food. See if you like the way it tastes. Perfect. I store my extra peanut sauce in a jar in the refrigerator, and it lasts for like a week or 2, but it's usually gone before then. If you want to thin it out, you can add a little bit more water to it to make it a little bit thinner. If it's not spicy enough, add more jalapeno. The second dipping sauce is super easy. It's made of tamari and sesame oil and a little bit of lime. 1/4 cup of tamari. 3/4 of a tablespoon of sesame oil, and the juice of 1/2 of a lime. Now, if you love heat, you can always add in a little diced jalapeno or a little Asian chili paste, but this stuff is simple and delicious. From start to finish, it took me about 30 minutes to whip up these delicious fresh rolls with 2 dipping sauces. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, remember to hit that thumbs up button or subscribe to my channel so you never miss a recipe. And I'll see you next time on Kat's Vegan Kitchen.